The story that I'm going to share with you guys tonight, it has nothing to do with security, okay? I don't even know why I'm sharing this story, but, I was just thinking to myself, it's rare that a man is ever put in a position where he's truly desired, right? And that's an amazing feeling. Like, you know what? I can tie this into security. Security is one of the least desirable jobs a person can have. It truly is. I think that on every live stream, I have alluded to the fact that this is one of those jobs that you kind of fall into. I don't think that there's anybody that sets out to be a security guard, right? I think that most people, you take the job in private security because like you're maybe wanting to get into law enforcement. Maybe you're not able to get into law enforcement, right? Maybe you're working that job as a stepping stone, or maybe you're doing it until something better comes along. I don't think that anybody sets out and wakes up one day and says, you know what, I want to be a fucking security guard, right? So in and of itself, it's not a desirable job. And I've told you guys in other videos that, you get disrespected a lot, you get talked down to a lot, like people make fun of you. It's not one of those jobs where people are like, just super excited about. And I was thinking about that today in relation to men in general. Like men, we spend all of our time just like chasing after beautiful women and trying to impress people. You can draw a straight line from everything that a man does to his desire to be, accepted or desirable to a beautiful woman. He goes to school to get a good education. He gets a good job to make money, to be able to buy a car or buy a house. Like all of that stuff is so that a guy can be more desirable. But what I want to talk to you guys about is if you have never, as a man, been in a position where you are the hunted, right? Where someone truly desires you and someone is doing everything to impress you. You have not lived. So I'm going to tell you guys a story. I was in a relationship in 2014. It was like a long relationship, and I ended up getting into it with this chick and we broke up. So like for the first time in a long time, I'm single. I'm getting back out there on the market, right? And this very nice lady who was a little bit older than me, a little bit more secure in her life than I was, we meet up, we match on a dating site. Now, this wasn't Tinder. This was like an actual website, right? I think it was like Plenty of Fish or some crazy shit like that. But we end up like matching and we get together. Now, at the time, I was dating a lot of younger girls. Like I was dating like college age chicks. I'm like 36 at the time, 35, 36. I'm dating like college age chicks. And this lady that I met and that I matched up with, she was like in her early 40s, right? But secure, you know what I mean? She had a good job, blah, blah, blah. So we go out, we have dinner, we have a good date. And I can tell right off the bat, like this lady is really into me. She's really attracted to me. Like, she's really like, she's feeling the situation. The only thing that was wrong with this woman, there was nothing wrong with her except for this one small thing. Her left eye, she had like a really like a wonky left eye. Like we'd be talking and we would be looking at each other like this, and her left eye would be just like, it'd be like over there. You know what I mean? It was crazy. She was beautiful. She was smart. She was articulate. She was successful, right? So many great things going for this woman. Like if you could have asked for everything in a woman, she had it. The only problem was this fucked up eye. So we go out, we have dinner on the first date, and like, I'm like trying everything. Guys, I'm sorry, this sounds so This sounds so superficial. I'm sorry. I know it sounds superficial. I can only tell the story the way that I can tell it. And I got to be honest with y'all. There's no filter. We're not bullshitting over here, right? So the first date, I'm like trying everything I can to like find a way to be okay with this chick's eye, right? And I just can't. So we go back to my spot, and like, I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying so hard. And I cannot make out with this chick. I cannot like go any further. I'm on some platonic shit, right? So, you know, we get together like 2 or 3 more times. And every time that it gets to the point where we're supposed to become intimate, like, I can't get past her eye. It was crazy. Like, this eye was just, it was the third wheel in this relationship between me and this chick, and I could not get past this chick's eye. And she was such a good woman, right? She was such a good woman. So finally, I'm just like, you know what? Like, I cannot do this. Like, I'm just gonna stop seeing this girl. I'm gonna quit like leading her on. Like, it's not gonna go anywhere. Yo, she calls me one night, and she's like, listen, she's like, don't say anything. Just listen to me. She goes, what would you say if I offered to take you on a trip? She says, I will pay for your flight. I'm going to fly you down to Florida with me, my best friend, my brother. We do this trip every year. My dad has a house in Orlando. We're going to fly down there. I will pay for your flight. I will take care of all your food while we're down there. I'm going to take you skydiving. I'm going to pay for that. I'm going to take you to Disney. I'm going to take you to Universal Studios. All you have to do is say yes. And I'm like, shit, I've never been skydiving. You know what I mean? I feel horrible. I said yes. I'm like, yes, let's go, right? So we fly down. And this is like apparently something that her and her brother and her best friend, they do this every single year. They fly down to Florida. They have this whole like, what do you call it? Like tradition where they fly down, they go to a nightclub the night before skydiving. They leave the nightclub, and then we go to a strip club, and they do the strip club until 5 a.m. They go home and watch Point Break. And then after Point Break, drive down to Tampa and then go skydiving, right? So we do this whole thing. We do all that. The night that we went to the strip club, Jeremy Piven, some of you people watching this, you're probably not even old enough to remember the show Entourage, but Jeremy Piven is the main character in Entourage. The night that we went to the strip club, Jeremy Piven is literally hosting the strip club. Like, he's there, we're partying with him. She's giving me money. She's giving me 20s. She's giving me 10s. She's giving me singles to throw at the chicks. Like, she's putting on an amazing trip, right? So we watch Point Break, we go skydiving. Skydiving is lit. We leave there, we go to Disney. Like 2 days after that, we go to Universal Studios. Like, she's taking me out to like dinner. She's treating me like I'm a hoe, you know what I mean? Like, she's doing everything she can. And every single night we would go back to her dad's house, and her brother's there, her best friend's there, a couple other friends are there. And every single night she wants to hook up, right? And every single time I couldn't get past this chick's eye. Like, this eye had become an even bigger thing. It was like the more she did for me, the more she paid for me, the more she gave me, the more I focused on this damn eye. And I couldn't get past it. I couldn't get past it. So finally, like the night before we fly back, it's not even an option, right? Like, we get back to the house, and her brother and her best friend and his friends, they're like, hey, we're leaving and giving you guys the house. Like, we know that you guys haven't had a lot of like time together, so we're just going to give you guys the night. She orders food. We have like basically a catered dinner, right? And I'm like, there's no way around this. Like, I have to do this. I felt like I was being assaulted because I felt like I was obligated to sleep with this woman, and I wasn't attracted to her, but I felt like I had to because she had done so much for your boy. My parents haven't even done that much for me. My parents never took me on vacation. This chick took me on vacation. She flew me out. So I do the thing, right? And it's whack. It's horrible because I'm not attracted to her. There's no attraction. And so we drive to the airport in silence. And we get on the plane, and it's awkward the whole way back, right? And so we land outside of we land in Philadelphia, and we get into the car. And right as we get into the car at the airport, she says to me, she goes, you know, I just have this feeling that you're not really attracted to me. And the second that she finished the E in me, I said, I'm not. I can't lie to you, I'm not. And I have never in my life seen somebody literally emotionally break. It was like I had shattered her world. And we get in the car and she starts crying, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say her name, but I'm like, you know, and she says, don't say a word to me. And the whole ride home, like the next hour and a half, she just wept, and I felt horrible. And we get to her house, and I go to get my bag out of her trunk, and she says, don't touch my car. She opens the trunk, she grabs my suitcase, and I had a Chrysler Crossfire, little Chrysler Crossfire sports car. She took my luggage and threw it right on my hood, and my hood just went like that. She like creased my shit. So I got like a $1,200 trip, and I ended up having to pay like $935 to fix my hood, right? But here's the rub. That was 11 years ago. 2 years ago, she gets married to this absolute, like, just goofball. And I'm thinking to myself, you'll need an app for I'm thinking to myself, like, this dude won. You know what I mean? She's a nurse practitioner. She has 2 homes, right? All she wanted was someone to love her, someone to appreciate her. Like, she wasn't asking for anything. She just wanted a companion. Like, as I work my 16-hour days, I'm reminded that I could have been sitting in one of her 2 houses playing PlayStation 5, balls deep in a Madden season right now. But I threw it all away over a wonky eye, right? I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I cannot believe that I don't say this wishing that I was in a relationship with her. I'm just saying that, like, as I look back, I don't know why I was so superficial. And my point in all of this, to wrap this up, is that when you work as a security guard, you also cannot be superficial. You can't worry about how people perceive you. You can't worry about the little wonky things, right? The totality of what we do is a lot bigger than the uniform that we wear. It's a lot bigger than the names that people call us, all the small little things. If I allowed myself to focus on the small little wonky bullshit things that come along with my job, I would throw away the opportunities that I've gotten in this profession. And I've had some amazing opportunities. So the one lesson that I have learned in that situation is not to throw away an amazing thing over something trivial and small and superficial. And if you are a security guard and you're watching this, I know how hard it can be to do this job. I know how hard it can be when you're at a family function or you're around people and they ask you what you do, and you try to find some way to jazz up what you do because saying you're a security guard doesn't feel right. You tell people that you work in executive protection, or you work in some aspect of law enforcement, right? Or that you're working this job now because you're looking to do something further down the line. You're going to better yourself down the line. And you know good and goddamn well you're going to be a security guard tomorrow. You're going to be a security guard next week. You're probably going to be a security guard a year from now. Be comfortable and confident in who you are and what you're doing, and don't allow the small, superficial bullshit to put you in a position where you throw away a good opportunity. Because for a lot of us, me, myself included, this is a great job. This is a great opportunity. It pays the bills. It supports the family. You should be happy with that, okay? That's my crazy story, all right? Let me see what some of these comments say before I get out of here. Ben Dover, that cannot be your name. He says, what the fuck? Samuel says, nope. Ben Dover says, oh, wait, let me see here. Should have did that sobriety on her, have her follow the pen. Yeah, I should have hit her with one of these bad boys, right? Drake Bell says, I was there. We hooked up, remember? Yeah. Funny. Very, very funny. All right. Guys, look, I'm about to get out of here and go get something to eat. I'm off tomorrow. I'm going to jog. Make sure you guys are getting your fitness in. If you're not in shape, you're wasting your life. Don't do that, okay? And I'll be making lots of video content tomorrow. I'm going to the gun range. I'm going to be shooting revolvers and shooting my Glock 43X, okay? All right, guys. As always, I appreciate you. Y'all be safe. Have a good night. Be great. Peace.